Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Cone Dodger here. Welcome back to Formula One 2018. Today we start a new week of races and are going to try and put behind us the rather tough couple of races we had last week. At the end of the day, it was actually a good week for us. We scored good points, we kept the points lead. It wasn't that it was bad. It's just that we gave away two what seemed to be sure victories there. And, well, that stinks. It doesn't feel good. But it's overall still a pretty good season so far. Well, it's actually a fantastic season so far. We do, however, got some homework to do to start the day with a new contract. You can see our value is pretty far above our contract value, and I already have everything I want, so this should be
It's
pretty
time for us to
easy.
renegotiate your contract. Here you can see the current deal. Once negotiations begin, the team will make you an offer. You can accept if you like, but I strongly suggest we push for better terms.
I strongly suggest we push for better terms as well. Honestly, I mean, if I can just get all of the things back that I had before, plus maybe this, even though I'm really not going to use it, then that's fine and dandy. So if I can get them to accept this, then I've lost nothing, I've gained something, and there was really no stress involved.
Our proposal has been
Perfect.
accepted. The new contract will take effect from the next race weekend.
Beautiful. So no dramas there. Okay, so the only other things left to do, I want to look at the R&D tree and give you an update as to where we stand in the R&D tree. We did have an arrow failure, which is a bummer considering we have our failure chance reduction in there, but it is what it is. I suppose that does mean, however, thanks to the new contract, we should be able to do two things at once. No, we can't, because that doesn't take effect until next week. Womp womp. Womp womp. Okay, that's fine. We can continue to work on the chassis development with our 1,500 points here. I've already done all of the tire wear stuff, which is a bummer. I wanted to do more with that. I think the next area I'm going to push into is in the brakes, because better brakes is just better. So, yeah, we'll do a 1 week upgrade here in the brakes. Leaves us with 830, which means we can probably do a powertrain upgrade as well. We can just go down the middle, which I believe the middle is fuel consumption, which isn't maybe the most flashy of upgrades, but it is, however, going to help our race strategy at the end of the day. So I guess that's a good way to keep going. We do also have, yeah, the energy recovery system. That's a 2-week upgrade in there. And actual engine power, that's also a 2-week upgrade. I think what I'm going to start to do is just balancing the three. I'm going to stop really pushing in the aero and really pushing in chassis as far as the interviews go. I already have a 6% and 3% upgrade here, but overall I'm just going to start focusing on full car development since we're not really behind in anything at this point. We're pretty equal in aero, we're pretty equal in chassis. No, we're not. We're way ahead. Yeah, there's no reason to be focusing on one thing at this point. Let's sprinkle the upgrades around. Okay, the only last thing left to do in the homework department is 8, maybe? No. Where is it? Here. We need to pick a new
Remember to
rival.
select a driver that you consider your rival from the rivalry screen on the workstation. Performing well against your rival can earn you respect and better terms when it comes to our contract reviews.
The top rival for us is still Daniel Ricciardo, and that's who I'm going to pick because it's the top value. You know, it's what gives us the most respect, even though I honestly don't know what this respect thing really gets us anymore since we're already at the top of the veteran chart. So I guess this is kind of irrelevant anymore, but that's okay. Now we move on to the next race weekend. Alright, we head now into Austria. This is Q2, and let me tell you, this is probably the best driving car I've ever had. No lie, it is legitimately incredible. We had 3 upgrades to the car this week, including a chassis upgrade that helped with the brakes, a aero update that helped with front downforce, and an engine upgrade that helps with fuel efficiency. cap all of that into the overall development of the car, and this thing is a rocket around this track. It just, as much as I like this track, this car loves this track. I'm actually using a lot of used parts here in qualifying because I'm that confident that we should have the pace. I want to watch the weather scroll through here for a bit though, because I've been noticing it getting cloudier and cloudier. I really don't want it to rain in Q3, but it looks like we're gonna be okay. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna be okay, but it's just gonna keep getting cloudier.
There's only a few cars out on track. We should consider getting out there.
Well, fine then, Jeff. I will do just that. I'm excited though. This feels good. It feels honestly better than Canada did, and as good as the car was in Canada, and as much as we should have won that race, a lot of pressure on me there. A lot of pressure once again to seal the deal, but I think Austria is a lot more forgiving than Canada is. There's a lot of space, there's good runoff, but it's still a nice traditional older style F1 track that has the scenery and the regular style walls that are near the course enough that it's just easy enough to find your way around, that you can feel confident really pushing the car. Or at least I do. I'm sure that's different for everybody. It's also staggeringly short, which means it's easy to learn. As much as I say Canada's my favorite F1 course, this one's quickly matching it. There's one turn I don't feel amazing about, it's this one. But that's kind of it. But the car is just perfect. It's stuck just really, really good. I can't think of anything in the handling department I would like to change. And this better be a 5. Yep. 105.391.
That was the fastest lap.
That should be good enough for number 1 in this session, I would say. Should be. Honestly, the best news of the weekend so far has been Magnussen P2 in every practice session, and so far in Q1 and Q2. Encouraging. That's very encouraging, and let's just hope he can continue with that as we move to Q3. Right, it's time for Q3. Let's try and put a quick one in, nice and speedy like. Although, using a lot of used parts, I don't feel a lot of guilt in doing more qualifying. But I think what I'm doing is I'm actually building up a good pattern for later in the season. I feel like I'm not going to be nearly as screwed in the parts department by the time we get to, say, Suzuka, where things tend to go awry for us in the season. So let's hope that we're doing that. I felt like I left a little bit of time there on our last lap, but that one, it actually stepped out a bit on me. It's kind of one way or the other there. I don't think we're actually down a lot of power, because we're using a newer ICE. The only thing we're losing out on is a little bit of energy recovery, and because this track is so short, you don't even come close to using all the energy in the system, so it should be pretty darn good there. Wow, the way it gets power down right there. Not just the way it gets power down, it's the way it turns in that really makes me happy. Feels good. Is this a 4? Could it be? No, but it's a 5.1. It is a 105.1. There's a 4 in this thing. If I really nailed a lap, absolutely pushed it to its max, there's a 4 in this car here. I don't think we're gonna need one. Let's hope that that's true.
Good afternoon and welcome to Spielberg, and to a circuit that in one form or another has held every Austrian Grand Prix in the championship, except the very first back in 1964. It was at this race that John Watson lost a bet and his beard when he took Team Penske's only F1 victory in 1976. If anything, the stakes are even higher today, with 25 points available for victory and a crucial advantage in the championship fight. Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Red lines up on pole position, and P2 goes to Daniel Ricciardo. A strong showing from the Australian. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Sebastian Vettel, and Verstappen, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Ocon, and Sergio Perez, Sainz, Ericsson, Nico Hulkenberg, and Stroll, Leclerc, Gasly, Stoffel Van Dorn, and Brendan Hartley. Sirotkin and Fernando Alonso starts from the back of the grid.
Okay, remember to protect the inside on the run down to turn 1. Make yourself as wide as possible. Robust, but fair.
Robust, but fair. You know what's not fair? The rain's not fair. Nor is the fact that Magnussen totally blew it in Q3. Didn't even get a 105 in. Was way slower than his practice times, his Q1 time, his Q2 time. Really let me down. Really let me down. Okay, so this looks like it's going to be a wet to dry race. Somewhere in the middle. So all we need to do is get to the middle on one set of inners, and it looks like that'll be possible. They're saying lap 18 is when these inners would start to go, and it's just going to be that guessing game of what lap's it going to be? When are they going to go? When are they going to change over to dries? I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm hoping we can retain the lead in the rain, but I know it's not where I'm in the good here. I'm going to leave the fuel in the car. I know it says plus 3 laps, but I know it's going to dry out. I know it's going to use more fuel, and I can just burn more fuel if I need to. Shouldn't be a problem. Okay. I think I've delayed long enough. Let's get wet. Low RPM starts in the rain. Very long and lights. Okay, crawl away clear. Hello, rain. Trying to stay away from the wheel spin. Watch for dive bombs down into here. This is the passing spot of the track, basically. Ooh, does not want to turn down there. We are good, though. There's a yellow behind us. Let's hope it's not Magnussen. It looks like he's okay. He's behind the Ferraris. Oh, it is certainly not as good in the rain as it is in the dry, which is to be expected. But I overall I don't know what it is, but there's something about this Haas that does not seem like it's as comfortable in the rain as maybe some of the other cars. I noticed in our brief multiplayer foray in the equaled out Renault, it seemed a little bit more comfortable in the rain. Whoa! Hang up plus contact there. Hang up plus I think Ricciardo dove into there and my car wasn't in the right place in the world, so we made contact. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but I know I can shake my fists at Codemasters for it. That was not so good. Okay, well, I think this is going to be a race of survival until the rain goes away. That was
okay,
weird.
We lost the position. Try to keep focus.
Keeps showing yellows over there, so obviously there's been some roughing up in the back of the pack. I'm just desperately trying to stay away from people because I don't want to hang up to cause a major collision and lose some wing. If this race dries out, we got the car to win, no matter what.
The energy store is getting reducing
What
our
in the?
capacity. The more charge you hold, the faster
Listen.
that capacity will drop.
I realize I got out of there poorly, but that was not necessary. What just happened here? Ricardo's pitting. What? What in the world is going on here? I don't know, but Hamilton just got away like a rocket. That was weird as hell. Alright, can we cap the field a little bit here? How is the car so good in the dry, and then this bad in the wet? I'm not even running particularly low aero. Maybe I just need to get my groove on here. Speaking of, there's a little bit of a dry lane forming. The hang-ups are going to be the death of me. Don't go away, though. Don't go away when it stops raining. Probably. Maybe. Definitely, probably. Easy down here. A lot of speed into a kind of off-camber turn. Tricky in the rain. Let's see if we ran faster than Hamilton this lap. Not quite.
At target +3. Let's get into mix 3 ASAP.
I understand why you say that, but these are not the conditions to do that in. Well, yeah, we are well off the pace in these conditions. I wonder if old day Rick picked up a little aero damage or something, and that's why he hit there. He certainly didn't seem that far off the pace to need to, but he did. Oh yeah, it is just not a happy car right now. I'll get over into that dry lane. Curious if getting out of Mode 5 would be helpful for it. I also don't want that much energy just sitting in the battery. Too messy down there. And we only lost like a tenth that lap.
Teammate behind is 5.8 seconds.
Magnus is doing okay. He's passed both the Ferraris. Now, let's see if we can improve this lap. There's a purple sector 1, so that's starting the improvement. Well, I don't know what all just happened there, but the game did not want me to see it.
To start thinking about slicks, let's hold on to the inters for a while longer.
So that's usually the message of like 3 or 4 more laps until conditions change. One thing that was brought up last week is conditions might change differently if it stops raining versus it gets sunny. I see blue sky here, which leads me to believe that when it stops to rain, it's probably going to dry real quick. This was a really good lap. Yep.
Okay, I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
Nothing like back-to-back confusing messages. Always trust in Jen. It might be kind of happening already. I wouldn't be shocked if he said new strategy available this lap. If it's going to dry out this early, it's going to be a 2-stop race, not a 1-stop race. More than likely. We'll probably go for supers now, and then another set of supers at like the 2/3 distance. I suspect that would have been our strategy anyway. It was going to be ultra super. Not this lap, huh? Okay, that's fine. I was really watching Hamilton there to see if he dove in. Still feels pretty good on these inners. Maybe. And I see there's a little bit of blue sky up there, but it's still pretty cloudy and foggy. I don't see anything in the way of spray, though.
A new strategy is
there we
available
go.
on the MFD. Understood, copy that.
Everybody's going to be in this lap. I wish they would stack Magnussen with me, but they won't. It would be the winning strategy for him, or the better strategy for him. Well, actually, he's pretty close. I thought he was further back than that. Hopefully he's okay on another lap with these tires. And here we go.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
A little bit late on that message there, Jeff. Tricky pit entry here. We got it. So we got Verstappen pitting with us, and Hamilton. Hamilton did get out cleanly. Oh, they stacked us! They did it! They actually did it! Amazing! I've never seen a team actually do a wise decision like that before. It looks like he may have lost a position in that, but it's still better than being out on the wrong tire. So now we are right with Hamilton, and we're going to have DRS to help us. We got to worry about these cars that are still out on inners. They're going to be very slow, and we need to remember that the track is still a little damp. Interestingly, Hamilton went for a set of ultras, so he might be a little faster than me for a few laps. Depending on how long these tires go, I may end the race on a set of ultras. He's getting held up by the Force India here. I mean, the Racing Point car. It's beginning to be a new F1 season, as we've just gotten our first glimpse of a 2019 car with this team. Haas was the first to show a car.
We're leading our teammate by 9.7 seconds.
Not really that amazing, because the car looks pretty similar. The only interesting thing is that they are rebranding to Rich Energy? Yeah, Rich Energy, which is some weird collection of people with a lot of money that have a company that has a website with 3 images on it, including 2 very low resolution images of a Haas F1 car and the Haas F1 logo, and then a 3rd image of a very tired looking woman in very high resolution. Quite an interesting company that will be. The good news is, for me, they finally have a livery that doesn't look like butts. I've always hated these gray, red, white liveries on these cars. They look very, I don't know, procedural. They don't look very appealing. The new livery is basically black and gold, kind of. We'll say a light homage to the you'll think of it like the John Player Special livery, but not quite as elegant. It's not bad, it's just not very exciting.
Okay, we've got plenty of energy. Switch to overtake and have a go.
I probably should keep burning some energy here. As I figured, I'm not destroying these two being on the harder tire, but eventually
Green flag.
it's going to come around to me. I do have just an incredible amount of fuel on board. I'm gonna go into Rich. Energy. Try and lose some weight. Besides, but also get a little power boost. I'm not too worried about parts, so I'm not too worried about hanging out in Rich. DRS here and there.
Pushing. You're gaining on the car ahead.
All the leaders setting their fastest laps. The three of us are probably going to be the slower ones. Yep, further back in the field where it's spread out, they're going to go faster and faster.
Just posted the fastest lap of the race so far.
This is going to get a little bit interesting here. I think the tires are starting to equalize. Combine that with running on just absolutely full power mode. This is the kind of thing F1 drivers live for. Full power, full attack. Chasing down the leader. In a car that's handling amazing. Oh yeah.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Made him overcook it. Nice. And DRS besides. Yeah, that's what we want. Now to try and keep that Red Bull off. The Red Bull is the second fastest car by a pretty good sizable chunk over the Mercedes now. Ferrari's really dropping back. I still figure they're working on some big upgrades, Mercedes and Ferrari. They've got to catch up soon. There's no way they're just that down on resource points. Just my turn in there. I feel like this is going to be one of those tracks where it's a little bit difficult to separate from the pack. Unless we absolutely clear DRS. Because there's a couple of really strong DRS zones here.
They've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
Did we just have 3 cars retire at once? I think we did. Strolls, I don't know how to say his name, and Van Dorn. All retired at once. And somehow we didn't get a safety car in that. No idea how. Doesn't make any sense. Pit stop information.
We'll be doing one more
Go
stop
ahead and do that
today.
manually.
One stop left in our strategy. Your pit window opens in 8 laps time.
Laps. It'll be a shorter stint for the end. Laps, so probably 10 to pit. Gonna put us at 23. 23 to 36. Yeah, I could see that being an ultra stint. We really want to make a commanding effort at the end of the race here. This is what I was talking about with the DRS thing. They just keep slinking their way back to me. Who's that there in 4th place? Some Toro Rosso. Unless he's a lap down. Probably a lap down. I see blue flags. Sun is out now. Truck's gonna get really good. I would like it more if Magnussen could push forward a bit. I'm honestly kind of bottlenecking the field up a bit here, so I feel like you should be able to
Check
close
your
in.
MFD for a new strategy option. Gap to teammate behind is 4.3 seconds.
19 instead of 21. Interesting.
Okay,
Yeah.
copy that.
Our original pit stop window was 18, right? No, that does seem a little early. But I guess they're trying to get me away from these two. Means no super fast run at the end on ultras, but that's okay. I think we're taking really good care of the tires anyway. No temperature issues, and probably no wear issues. Stay away from that curb though.
Ricardo is the fastest man on the track at the moment.
I think he's mired back in the field though, because he had to do an extra pit stop. It'll be a good points day for us if things play out like they are. Hey, Magnussen got around Verstappen. Nice. A little bit too deep there. But he gets out of the turn so well, it doesn't matter. I'm surprised their tires are holding on as good as they are.
Battery charge is low. If we turn down the ERS deployment, we can harvest more energy.
Shit! No. No, this is kind of what I was talking about with the whole Jeff thing. At some point where there's just zero...
Don't let them get away from you. One of them might make a mistake that lets us back in.
Zero effort on their part to make sure the messages aren't in bad places. That was a bad place. I would be screaming on the radio right now when they give you a dire sounding message at the apex of a turn. It's very distracting. Of course, if I had the intelligence more than, a peanut, I could just block that out
While we're
and
approaching the
focus.
pit window, you'll be on the super softs.
But that ain't me. It was just startling. I guess the pace really increased and the battery usage really increased with it. These two are going wheel to wheel. Maybe they'll punt each other off the track. Oh shit! I was joking, but they're doing it. Look at them. Yoink! Not quite. Not quite. Well, that should have helped Magnussen, because we were all sorts of crossed up there. Not quite. Signs what you want. For that reason. Nice. Alright. Mistake covered. I think that turn gets me quite often. I feel like that's a turn that I've screwed up a bunch of times over my F1 history. The nose of the car is just really on edge right there. It doesn't really feel like it on a normal lap. K-Mag is approaching.
In this lap, push now.
Fast approaching. We are going to be hitting this lap. If we pit and come out into open track, we should be able to do some phenomenal lap times on new tires and lower fuel. Which would clear those two easily. I gotta assume they're gonna be fitting at nearly the same time. I don't know why they didn't put us on Ultras to begin with, if that's what everybody else did. You would think it's the same AI, either way.
Box.
Alright, here we go. Such a tricky pit entry. Nobody pit with me, okay, so they're going even further. Interesting, I took the harder tire, pit one lap early, but still pit before the people on the softer tire. A mystery to me.
Exit now.
Pretty open track.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
16 laps should be really just fine for these tires. No distractions. I want to put in 2 of the best laps I can possibly do. That's going to be really good right now. We've finally burnt off all that extra fuel, or enough of it that it shouldn't be a factor. I was a little spooked after last race. The fuel mix was, or the fuel
Kevin is in the pits.
calculation was just way off. Traffic may be a minor factor against us right now.
He gapped the car
Ooh, they're
ahead
still
is
on pit road.
3.1 seconds.
Verstappen ahead of us, who has not hit yet, I believe. Yeah, neither of these cars have hit. Surprised we didn't get DRS there. Perez on a different strategy. I'll run up the back of him now. Plenty of gap. Be worried about him hitting here. Yep. Oh, they both hit. So this will actually be our fast lap right now. Ooh, and we get a little cheeky DRS to start it. Nice. Oh, the way it slows down for that turn is incredible. I wasn't kidding when I said this car is really good in the dry. Really, really good. Feeling gears in pairs there. That seems to be the best way to keep the tires from locking up in the rear. It doesn't get too much in our way right now. Nice. Little baby lift right there, but still smoking lap. Oh yeah.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
I actually don't want to keep that up. I kind of want to back off a little bit right now. We got myself, Hamilton, then Magnussen. I think it's my job for the rest of this race to basically just hang on. chill somewhere in that like 108 range, and we'll be good. We put 5 seconds on Hamilton in that exchange. And we'll just hope that Magnussen can move forward once again, but he's already in pretty decent shape. It'll be a really good day for us against Red Bull at the Red Bull Ring. Such an interesting little track this is. Would be really interesting to see the full one. This used to be a much longer course with even faster straightaways. But I really like the nature of the turns the way they are now, in that there's elevation, but it's real elevation. You know, this is the layout of the land. This is just the way the hills were formed, and because of that, it just drives different than a track that's forced to have elevation.
Battery charge is high. Let's increase ERS deployment to up the pace.
Did we learn nothing, Jeff? Did we learn nothing about where the appropriate place for messages is? The answer to that is no. But yeah, it's not the hills of Road Atlanta or Spa even. They're not quite as dramatic. But the way this turn is flat but downhill, and this one, you know, the hill kind of ends up banking the turn. It's just cool. It just drives really cool.
We advise moving to Mix 2. Fuel to Mix 2.
Finally! How many laps did I sit in Mix 3?
We're leading our teammate by 7.8 seconds.
Looks like about 2 seconds between K-Mag and Hamilton. Interesting how Haas has not switched drivers in their entire history. It's gotta be getting close to a record, right? Has any new team ever kept 2 drivers for this many seasons in a row? Really, has any team kept 2 drivers? The last, you know, long-standing pairing I can remember is Schumacher and Barrichello. I don't even know how many years that was. But it was a good long while. But yeah, it's still very unusual for a new team to do that. Now, the only thing I can figure is they just want to focus on car development. They don't want to focus on driver development. They don't want to focus on having some, you know, young hot shoe in the car that maybe is going to be destructive or doesn't have the knowledge to tell you how to fix a car, make it better. Long-standing drivers like that.
Behind is 6.7 seconds.
They can continually tell you, you know, track how the car's development has been. Certainly, looks-wise, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything too crazy this year. Or looks basically like it did last year, just with a new front wing arrow. So there's a lot more to a car than just how it looks. Certainly could do a lot to it off-season to change the dynamics, the underpinnings, the chassis. Staying in that 8 range, that's what I wanted to do. We're not really pulling away from Hamilton, but I'm not really trying to. One kind of offshoot topic that we were talking about on the Patreon Discord this week was how they paint F1 cars, or my initial question was who does the vinyl wrap of these cars? Like, who does the whole skin wrap on these things? That must be a terribly annoying thing to do, because there's It's not like a NASCAR car that has big, huge panels on it. It must just be, you know, a billion little pieces. And it was actually found by, I think, ZK that they still paint F1 cars. They paint the panels and decal them. For as future as Formula One is, these might be some of the last painted race cars in existence. GT cars, NASCAR vehicles, even, I believe, Indy cars, pretty much all vinyl wrapped. Unless it's like a showroom stock series. They for the most part, vinyl wrap cars these days, not paint. Paint's very expensive to do. It takes a lot of craftsmanship, man-hours, but even more so than man-hours, just it's a highly skilled thing. Not to say vinyl wrap isn't skilled, but it's certainly a lower, I would say it's a lower skill level, but
The gap to the car behind is 6.8 seconds.
oh, that's as stable as all get out. Yeah, less that it's a skill as much as you just need somebody who's patient to do it. Experienced. Yeah, I thought that was an interesting little tidbit. Because the new Haas car is mostly black, and then has some like gold accents and stuff. So, from what I could tell, I was trying to like really examine the
Expect to
pictures.
see some rain about 10 to 15 minutes from now.
The 15 minutes. We should be well done with the race by then. No problems there, hopefully. How does it go from raining to cloudy to beautiful blue skies to raining again? How could that happen? What's that going on now? Oh yeah, paint. I think the gold parts are still painted, all the decals are placed, and then they clear coat over all of that. It could be that the gold parts are decals as well. But yeah, quite interesting that paint is the go-to still. I think the Red Bull cars might be more wrapped, and probably like that Mercedes design with the changing colors. I think more of that's probably wrapped too. But they still use a base coat of paint to make up the solid blocks of color. Pretty cool. Car painting is one of those things I always desperately wanted to do and get experienced at, but the cost of entry of something like that is a little too extreme for me. Well, that second pit stop really ended this race, didn't it? Although Magnussen is closing in on Hamilton still. That could still be a race back there. It would be lovely to have a 1-2 to wash away the bad memories of the last two races. Sadly, no 100% races yet.
Behind is 9.1 seconds.
Still fighting some voice issues. I don't know if it's still repercussions of the sickness that I had, or if it's an overworking thing, because I do have vocal cord damage that could be part of it. Or it could just be the fact that it's now pollen season here in Florida, and the air is a solid. The air is yellow tree goo. But one way or the other, I unfortunately don't have the available voice to do multiple hour recordings right now. Oh, he's getting close. He was right up behind him there. I wish I was closer so I could see more.
The gap behind us is 8.1 seconds.
You can tell he's having to defend because they've dropped back a lot, and my pace has not improved.
There's 5
He's
laps
done
of
it.
fuel remaining.
Nice. Let's go for that 1-2. Now he's got to hold him against DRS for probably the rest of the race, but we'll see. Oh, we put a nice gap to him there. There's only like 5 minutes of this race left. You can do it. That'd be a hell of a drive, I gotta be honest. 8th, I believe? 8th to 2nd?
Quick tyre update for you. Everything's looking nice and tidy on our end. Let us know if you start to feel any issues.
Thanks, Jeff. You want to tell me about this
Right,
yellow
some
flag?
information on Ricardo. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car.
That's information I needed. I don't know if he was even in the points either way after the early pit stop, but certainly those Red Bulls, they did not do a lot of durability upgrades, it seems. Lots of DNFs, especially for Ricciardo, who is the faster of the two this season. Well, Hamilton is still right on the back of Imag.
Let's turn up the ERS deployment and burn some of this energy.
Why is it always right in this set of turns, Jeff? I guess because that's where we harvest the most energy, but still. I want to be able to draw markers on the track and have no talking zones.
Caution, caution.
I would totally do that to a real engineer. Hey, here's the track map. Don't talk to me here.
The track is clear. Green flag.
Ow. I guess they craned it over the wall. I think those two are pushing each other because they closed like 2 seconds in the last couple laps. I've been in total cruise control mode. I do not want to throw this race away. I think of where we're headed next. I might be Hungary, which is a tricky one. It'd certainly be nice to score good points here, and it seems like we're going to. I mean, with Danny Rick out of the race, I think we're going to be.
2 laps of fuel left.
I think we're going to be easily a race clear at this point. A full race points haul in the lead, which is good because we still have Singapore left in the calendar, which is a surefire non-point scoring weekend or low point scoring weekend. Oh, that's so close behind us. Imagine doing a 100% race at Singapore. I would have to practice for like days to do it. Literal days. I think I could eventually do it. Like if I just sat down and literally did nothing but practice for that event for a good long time, I think I could actually do it.
This is your final lap.
Hey.
Final lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 6.8 seconds.
Which is the gap to second place. Love it. That makes me so happy. So very happy. Am I not centered in the car? I don't think I'm centered in the car. There's a little arrow piece in front of me that's not centered in the view. That must have not centered track IR, right?
We're expecting rain in around 10 to 15 minutes.
All good there, then. You just wasted your breath, Jeff. Coasted around. Here we go. Checkered flag. Making up for 2 terrible races, or 2 terrible losses.
We did it. Good job.
We have won the Formula 1 I-Time Grosser Prix von Sippenberger. Those were words. I think. Pretty sure.
So another fantastic victory for Haas today. So, Ant, how exactly did they set themselves apart from the pack today?
You better say raw pace.
Car. That was the most important factor here. This was a real battle of attrition, and you could tell those at the front were trying to find a balance between running their outright pace and taking care of the car to reach the end.
Yeah, whatever. Just because a bunch of cars DNF doesn't mean that that's the reason we won.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be Haas picking up the winner's trophy.
That's what I want to see.
Congratulations to the entire team for coming out on
2
top
great suits.
in that amazing Grand Prix.
And how does that affect the driver's standings?
So then, it's time to see how this
it's
result
raining, yeah.
affects the Drivers' Championship. Red increases their championship lead. Moving
Oh,
on
yeah.
to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go
Gotta
for?
be Magnussen.
Well, he had a great drive today, somewhat unexpected maybe, but I'm going to go for Kevin Magnussen.
Yeah.
Quick, clean, and in control. It was everything you could ask for.
Oh.
And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings.
Oh, look
Haas
at the best
moved
lap.
to the top of the table. Meanwhile, good work from Force India this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. It was great having you with us for this weekend. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. Until next time, though, goodbye.
All right, to the top once again for our team. That's going to continue to be a topsy-turvy battle, though. I think Mercedes is in position to probably overhaul Red Bull if their car improves a little bit. And they should be sitting on some car improvements here. They've been stagnant for so long, I just don't see how there's any chance they aren't sitting on some big upgrades. And is Ferrari just ever going to come alive? 5th and 8th in this race. Come on, Ferrari, what are you doing? What are you doing? All right, well, that was a good one. That was a good one. We have, however, got to watch this first lap together because it was crazy. It was crazy. I'd love to see if Ricciardo did indeed take some front wing off. It's a weird jockeying there. Oh, we cleared so nicely. But this car was so bad in the rain. It did not like the rain one bit. Kind of thankful for the rain. If it was dry that whole race, it would have been a snoozer. we would have dominated that thing. The rain made it interesting. Pretty clean down there. It looked like it was a lot messier than that. It scooted away really good, but then here in the twisty section, it wasn't really working for me. Back end steps out. So where does he close so much? Where does it happen? Still pretty far back. Oh, it steps out on me real bad right there. That's what happens. Maybe it was lap 2 that incident actually really happened. Oh, he's close. Oh! Boy, if I had been able to actually see what was happening there, I would have much better said that was my fault. But please do remember, I had no frames from about here, I believe, down to here. All of that, the game was frozen. Now, sure, I did step out into the curb. I did get sideways and push him out, but the recovery, I was totally blind for. You can see I have no steering input here. So yeah, the second hit was needless, was pointless. He does take the lead there, but apparently he had enough wing damage that he had to pit. The only saving grace is his car blew up anyway, so I really don't at all feel bad about that. Oh, you can see he's missing the head plate. Well, that's a bit of a bummer. That's a bit of a... It's a scar on what should have been a beautiful race, but I can just chalk it up to Codemaster's terrible game. Alright, well, hope you enjoyed either way. It was a pretty fun race. And I will see you all next time.